It's my favorite part of the day. Welcome back to Road Less Traveled, a podcast by Applewood Distillery, where we interview people across industries who are pushing the boundaries in their given field. And today we have a sensational guest, and one that I'm insanely excited to speak to, because we talk a big game here at Applewood Distillery about having direct connections to our farmers, knowing exactly where we get all of our produce from. And we have one of our farmers as our guest right now. However, they are not just a farmer. In fact, they started in fine dining, worked their way through fine dining, then discovered that foraging was their calling and were doing a lot of foraging while at fine dining. We have the impeccable, the just absolutely incredible Liam Spurrell joining us from Spurrell Foraging. Liam, mate, how are you?
Hey, good. Great.
I love it every time we chat. I always feel like I feel like I'm fangirling a bit with you, and it makes me feel awkward for you. Do you feel the same way? You're just like, oh, stop it.
Not really. But try best, so talking to us a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Mate, true. But for those who are just starting to get to know you, we've known each other for a couple of years now, and I remember when you first started supplying your incredible produce to Melbourne hospitality, people were going nuts because you had stuff that no one had ever seen before, at least in the bars game. Can you explain for people kind of what your story is, how you actually how you went from being a chef on the paths to then farming, which seems like two different things.
Yeah, it seems like two things kind of related but not really related. But it actually started out getting my first job as a chef. So my first job as a chef, I was basically, my brother used to work at New Ones, like in, I was 14 at the time. So the head chef had recently come back from Noma, came back and wanted to know, because we lived in Warrandyte at the time, or Park Orchards Warrandyte, so it's a bit of a more rural-ish area. So we wanted to get some natives and whatever's around, and we were the only I'd been one at the time. There was not many Australians working, so international workers, because it was that kind of restaurant.
Yeah.
So he came out, and I was walking around with him, showing him a few of the things, because my mum was a gardener. She looked after a garden. He was like, "Oh, we use this and this." So I wanted to be a chef since I was 6.
Love it.
Grade 1, you dress up as what you wanted to do. So I dressed up.
Yeah.
So I did that.
Love it.
Yeah, and then basically the opportunity, I asked him, "Do you mind if I work on Saturdays, just come and see what the kitchen's like?" And he went, "Yeah, sure, as long as you bring in some stuff you pick."
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. So you literally, bought your way in.
Yeah. So yeah, at 14, going into work at Newland, stuff, and yeah, it was a bit of a whirlwind at the time. But yeah, so I did that, and the next year, turned 15, started my apprenticeship at Cutler & Co. So my brother was working there at the time, so I just wanted to be a bit more independent kind of thing. So I worked at Cutler & Co. for 4 years, finished my apprenticeship there, still picking for whatever they needed, little garnishes here and there. Then went back to View Ones for a bit, and that's where it really, I was picking for 3-4 hours a day just to keep the menu going.
Oh, wow.
It was pretty big, and they end up going, well, make sure you wake up at a decent time, because I was getting up going to bed at 2 a.m, getting up at 7 a.m, and picking for hours and trying to get into work on time. So it was a bit crazy. Then we started working it out, because I realized how much I was getting. And that was just the amount I was getting, it was crazy. And I'm thinking that's when it really started. They're getting this because nobody else can get it. Then I was actually going to go to Sydney to work, and then got a job offer from the Stove Scott Pickett.
Yeah.
So that's turned into Stoke History now. But I went there, worked for Josh Pelham for a couple of months, and then I wasn't really foraging as much as normal, because I was the hours killing me and everything. Then Josh Pelham left, and the old head chef from Vitamond started working at Estelle, so we're straight back at it. Crazy times, so yeah. So that's Stevie Narum when he was there. So he was head chef of Estelle for a while. And then basically went on a holiday to Europe, just to have a holiday kind of thing. We got back and went and try and see if we can actually make a business out of it. So basically back into Estelle and went, well, I resigned from Estelle and went, well, I'm actually going to be starting this up now. And they went, well, sweet, we'll place an order on that day. So that was August 16th, 2016.
Oh, wow.
Remember that one? And there it was for the first 6 months. I picked up 5-6 customers. Starting out, so it was quite slow to start. I was filling up my car with petrol and had a little bit of savings and that kind of thing to get me through. And then after that, it was from 6 customers in 5-6 months to 20 customers in 9 months to 80 customers in 18 months to 100 in 2 years. Then COVID slowed for a bit. COVID.
COVID was COVID. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, and then we got up to that. But just before COVID, we actually bought a farm because at the start of the business, I was wild foraging for those first 6 customers. I wasn't actually growing because what was the point at the time? For 6 people, I can go out and get things up the side of the road and go to all the places you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents have a 2-acre property and 1 acre is a paddock. There's nothing in it. So I started renting from there to grow a few from there when we were actually starting to get bigger and bigger. And then after that, it was the soil and Warren is terrible compared to where we are now. And this is an acre, and we got to the point of an acre's not going to cut it. So we bought 18.5 acres.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah.
So you seriously upscale.
Yeah.
Massive.
Huge. And we're still not using the entire property because our neighbour
really
goes down is a strawberry farmer and he's rented this property out for 15 years. Just strawberries. So we were taking a paddock over from him at the time. So that was just before COVID, and now we've taken over 3 of the paddocks. So that is 6-7 acres worth.
Yeah.
So
that's gigantic.
I'm serious now.
Yeah, seriously. And wait, what have you found moving from foraging into farming? You're essentially a farmer now.
Yeah.
You're not really a forager anymore.
No, really. It's still forage a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
30 to 40% forage and 60%, 70% farmed.
Amazing.
I had to do it just because we have so many customers now. It's 200 customers on the books, kind of thing. And restaurants, the hardest thing to do is be consistent. It's right. Our goal in being a chef is each thing put out is the same. So with wild foraging, it's up in the air sometimes. You have a storm, everything goes haywire, kind of thing. But actually farming, I can strategically plant things like nasturtium is one of our big sellers. We have that under freeze, so it's a bit more protected. We can actually Egypt do everything a bit more. So yeah, that helps.
And is that the biggest challenge and the biggest difference between wild foraging and then farming? It's really just that control condition.
Yeah.
Or are there other elements that you get to control, which someone like myself who has not really spent a lot of time farming?
Yeah.
Are there other things which people might not know of that you're able to control in kind of that controlled environment of your farm that you're not able to control in the wild environment?
Yeah. So the big one is water, rain. We have a bore on our property, so we drilled our own bore, so we get unlimited water. It's literally a 127-meter hole that's into a prehistoric river that we get water from. So that waters the entire property. So that's the big one. And then because as I said before, I'm not a farmer. It's a lot of trial and error. I don't have a clue basically half the time. So we have a little section we call our show garden. It's just plant things in there to see how they grow. Just get them in the ground, see how they go.
Yeah.
And then if they're struggling one way, if they die or something, we'll buy some more, put them somewhere else. It's a bit more of a test to see if we plant this in it by itself, in the open, and it dies, we go, right, so we have to do this. We have to get the plant and actually move it to slightly under a tree. Or there was one plant that like river mint. Nightmare to grow for us. We could never grow it.
Wait, why was it a nightmare to grow?
We just could never get enough water to it. Like we were planted watering so much. We have dug a pond, just have a little bit of water and have some fish. Planted next to it, found it actually sent its like roots into the water. So the roots are feeding up the water in the pond.
Jeez.
Giving it looking after it so much. And then we realized that, we were never going to win this one until we actually planted next to a direct water source where it actually submerges stuff in water. So things like that.
Wow.
Like strawberry gum is probably one of the biggest ones we're doing now. We planted it 3 different places over the property. It never really worked. And then we had lemon eucalyptus planted. So we just planted it next to that and went, maybe the wind and it will get a bit of protection. And strawberry gum is right up. Like our trees are.
Oh, right.
Like they're getting to a really, really decent size now.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So that trial and error side of farming, that I suppose when you're wild foraging, you're not thinking about, I suppose, those kind of things, how to grow this plant, because it's growing naturally, right? It's found its own way. Is there any kind of resource that you can reach out to that can give you answers on that? Or are you doing this all by trial and error? There's no mentors who are like coming over and saying, "Hey, Liam, let me tell you how to do this." You're having a go.
Our 2 neighbors they grow berries and strawberries. They think I'm crazy. I want this farm.
Do they?
They don't know how I'm sustaining a farm, kind of thing. There's like,
really?
What are you growing?
Oh my God! Wait, so they're just like, "Oh no, I can't deal with you," or are they interested in what you're doing and are they learning from you as well?
I can't believe that I'm growing. Like, I let weeds grow in my farm. Like they'll poison me. Yeah. Let them grow because I sell dandelion and I sell clovers and
the kind of classically, the classic weeds. Yeah.
So all the weeds that they'll just get rid of, I'm like, no, why would I do that? I can sell that too. Like people want dandelion and that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of that. And they grow what the neighbor 2 doors down that used to rent, he just grows strawberries.
Right. Okay.
Next to us, they grow blackberries, raspberries, capsicums, blueberries. That's it.
Okay.
On the property, we have over 90 different plants that are edible. So we just our whole thing is get as much as we can. So we so many different things.
So you're about like total permaculture.
Yeah.
You just want as many different things as possible on your property.
Yeah. We're literally forest at the back of our property. One of my goals is to expand the forest.
Oh, right. So you're really you're trying to re-veg.
Yeah. And completely edible forest. Why not?
That's wicked. That's so cool. You're literally wanting to make a completely edible forest. That's the fucking coolest thing I've heard in a long time, man. That's so sick. Do you have like a favorite ingredient that you like to grow then? Out of all the 90 ingredients that you currently have, is there one that sticks out in your mind? Or maybe like if you can't narrow it down, do you have like 3 or 4 where you're like, they're the best? This is so cool. I love farming this.
Yeah. It's a couple like strawberry gum is one of my favorite ones just because when we got it, like we've trial and error and now like we've found a place it's just exploded and I'm just like, and we're going through so much of it is just, thank God we can actually get this and actually going out to find the plants. Nobody really sprouts it as a seed because it's eucalyptus a bit hard to actually start growing. So to actually find them and to actually really nurse them to the right size is like to really be healthy is I'm finding just fun ones. And then things like we have one on our list, Mountain Marigold, that it's just that strong in like passion fruit leaf kind of smell to it.
I love Mountain Marigold.
Like because we live on the farm now. It's literally the closest plant to our house because on a hot day it just the whole house smells like fruit. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome! That's so cool.
Yeah.
Is that like are those 2 just your favorite? Do you have any others that you're like, well, yeah, that's awesome?
There are a few kind of things like when we get out, we're still experimenting with things like aniseed myrtle and all the lemon myrtle. We got for them, but they take that little bit of maintenance that you really get them going strong, like with the tip green and everything. And like just the smell off them is insane. But we're actually trying to get them to be like our natural windbreaks. So that's just going to be, our farm is going to be covered in there's windbreaks on the farm to protect the strawberries. So I went,
Yeah.
they're pretty ugly. They're just like, yeah. So we're doing that. So we're growing them to be that. So like when we have it going, it's just going to be walls of lemon myrtle, aniseed myrtle, cinnamon myrtle, like eucalyptus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mate, it's honestly, you're not actually making an edible forest. You're making essentially a giant scented candle. That's what you're doing. It's massive. That's awesome. Now you've got a good mix because you're permaculture farming. You've got a good mix of non-native and native species.
Yeah.
What do you find are the kind of differences between, well, let's say introduced, not invasive, I hate that term, introduced species and native species? What are the differences between the two? Are there marked differences between them? If so, what are they?
I think there's a big difference between the two. Like the natives they're hard to start, but easy to maintain at the end. Like to actually in the ground and survive, you have to put a bit of work, water them, make sure they're looked after and everything. But once they're established and they kind of look after themselves, because Australia is so harsh compared to a lot of other places in the world, like the plants are just self-sustaining, like know how to look after themselves and that kind of thing. And then you get a lot of the like non-natives, like we do mizunas and all that kind of like little herbs and that kind of thing. And we find like to get them started, you just chuck them on the ground and water them and they sprout. But then like we plant, because we have all our mizunas, we try and plant marigolds on the side, because the natives won't really care about insects. Mizunas will get hammered by insects. So we plant marigolds to the side because they'll attract the insects. Or we plant things like alpine mint that will actually, they're an insect bane. So it's a lot of things like that. The natives are harder to start, easier to maintain, where the natives are easy to start and then
easy to start. Then you got so much care. It's like you're looking after a baby.
Yeah, and then so like the flowers and everything, and because we pick fresh every day as well. Like have the dirt gets in everything, and we have to try and get on top of that. That's red like volcanic soil. It's good for plants, but it's just really gets in everything.
Yeah, for sure. Well, what are some of, like, you're picking every day, like what are some of the day-to-day challenges on the farm?
So much of it is time, because the restaurants can order at, say, they can order at 5 a.m. in the morning tomorrow. We'll have that to them before midday kind of thing. So it's literally, you get out.
It's outrageous.
And we pick whoever orders, we pick that order that day and get it to you. So some people can have lunch and eat things that were picked at 8 a.m. in the morning and get it that quick.
Wow.
That's one of the big things, time. Comes to weather as well. So like if we have a storm and like hail or something, some things can get damaged. Which this is where being a chef actually helps me out. One thing can get damaged, I can go, cool, this is like, how did we have a problem with this one? Here's a suggestion for something to replace for the day or for 2-3 days.
Okay.
Instead of similar, and they can choose out what they want, and we'll get that to them straight. So it's just more, managing time and basically dealing with the weather. It's because we deliver ourselves and everything. So we pick, deliver, get to the restaurant ourselves.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And are there like logistical challenges? How have you confronted the logistical challenges of doing that? Like you just one man. Yeah. Surely, like you've got a team around you. You've got packers and pickers and the whole thing.
Yeah. So right now there's me. We have our accounts manager and 2 managers of the company that we're the full-time workers. And then I think we have 4 drivers, 2 drivers out a day kind of thing. So mentioned like over the week they work 2-3 days each. Same with pickers. I think there's 11 or 12 pickers off the top of my head.
Yeah, cool.
They work 1, 2, 3 days a week kind of thing. We have one that works 4 days a week. It's just a lot of them are university students or just looking for something kind of to do. So we have like that kind of thing, and we're pretty flexible because we're literally we're a carting company. Like there's me, Meg, who is the other manager who grew up 500 meters away from me when we were kids.
Yeah.
It's French, my brother. So it's one of those, we're just tight thing. we try to be pretty flexible with everything, and then just like working out it's basically if we have any problems, we should just fix it ourselves kind of thing, and then try.
Okay.
So there's a few things like our days can be pretty eventful. Like if something goes wrong, we try to get someone to fix it, or we fix it ourselves. So we're pretty hands on with every aspect of it.
Yeah, you're insanely hands on, mate. Yeah, you absolutely have to be. You know, you can't exactly work from home and do your job 100%. Now, your very first order was in 2016, right?
Yeah.
And you've then purchased property. You've now set up it's 2 farms, or it's just 1 farm? I remember chatting to you maybe a year ago, and you were like, "Oh, we're setting up the second farm where it's mostly native species."
Second one is Sylvan, our farm in Sylvan. This one was Warrandyte, which we're really dialing back from now. I think we only have different things on there now.
Yeah.
So that's because Warrandyte soil is terrible. Like it's old gold mine thing.
Hold on. Yeah. Can you break that down for me? Why is the soil terrible, and how do you figure that out? Like, what does good quality soil look like? That's it's such a weird thing to me.
So Warrandyte used to be gold mine territory. Like they literally still have gold mines that kids fall down every second year.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kid will fall down. Nothing.
Yeah.
But the soil, because it's mining, like it just gets stripped. You'll even just see it like a lot of times you can visually see good soil from bad soil. So at Warrandyte, it's grey, it's claggy, it's really thick, it's just like it's just clay kind of thing, and it's really like grey and it's just terrible. Like it's just one of those feels. Retains a lot of water in weird places and everything. It's not right. And then coming up to Sylvan, it's where all the berry farmers are in Melbourne. And it is bright red. It stains everything. Like half my goal in my house is keeping the floors clean because they're supposed to be grey and they're orange.
Yeah, no.
Just that kind of thing. And if you just pick it up, it's like if you get it slightly wet, it will stick together. But most of the time, it's still quite fine. And just you see what grows out of it as well. Like in Warrandyte, you get the grasses growing sporadic. In Sylvan, like everything, like we can't
keep coverage.
Like it's we went out because we don't use any chemicals or anything. We actually go out by a steam weeder just to keep out of it.
Oh wow!
A weeder that blasts 100-degree steam onto the weeds and almost kill them instantly.
Oh wow! Yeah, cool.
So yeah.
Do you have like a favorite bit of kit that you like to use when you're farming? Like you just talked about the steam weeder, which sounds like a really cool piece of machinery. Do you have like a favorite piece of machinery?
Well, the one I'm learning now is a tractor.
Oh, right. What are the challenges with a tractor?
We basically got someone in to plow our fields one day. He worked at the store around the corner kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the next day he called us up and went, "We've got a tractor here that's just been basically given away. Like we got a half price, and we're looking at a 65 horsepower tractor, which is a decent sized one. We got a 95 horsepower tractor, which is a fair bit of kit.
So you've got the Bugatti of tractors.
Basically, it's a lot more, so much more than we needed, but it's fun to drive because you can get up to probably 60, 70k an hour with.
Well, like while you're plowing, you can do it at like 60 k's an hour?
When you're plowing, it's maybe 5k an hour. You have to put it in the...
Oh, right. Okay, you have to put it in the special gear.
Yeah, but they have the go shift. That
for some odd reason, I was picturing you like Tokyo drifting while doing the plowing.
Once you get to it, like driving up to them, you go as fast as you want.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, that's the newest one because we've just got a rotary hoe and everything on the back. So still like
what's a
rotary hoe?
Mate, what's a rotary hoe?
So a plow will like turn over the soil like generally. It'll be just get the soil turned. And then you have rotary hoes that will be a bit more specific for it. Like it will actually cut the soil up and make it fine and level, ready to plow basically.
Oh, wow. Okay.
A lot of people call plows rippers. They'll just literally rip the ground up, get it ready to go, ready to actually fucking fine. So, yeah.
Okay. So a rotary plow like prepares it quite well.
Yeah. So we actually,
So yeah.
which I'm going to get on in hopefully the next week or two if we have 2-3 dry days. That's
Yeah. Okay.
a couple dry days, and you just need a lot of water and then a little bit dry after it, and I can plow the whole farm.
Oh wow. Okay. So you're getting ready to get on the big 95 horsepower tractor.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because it's perfectly calm start planting now, especially weather breaking and
true.
Like this is going to be our big plant weather.
Wait, so what are you going to be planting?
So it's a lot of things like we have our geraniums, plant-up stages and all that we have one line of. It's not quite enough, especially because we're looking like we're always expanding. So we've basically cut all that back to get cuttings. You cut the plant back, put a stick of it in the ground, grow. So we're doing, like we've just ripped out a big bed, and with the weather like leveling out and everything, it's perfect time to do it. So right now, especially we're ripping up half the beds just to expand and double, triple what we're doing right now. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Far out. Okay. And so you're going to triple what you're doing.
Yeah.
By planting what you're about to plant.
Yeah.
Do you need more pickers? Is that in order to get that done?
Not really. Well,
no, not really. Okay.
I'll be doing it. We'll be doing a lot of it.
You'll be doing it. Oh no.
So,
mate,
have a good team behind us and everything now. So,
yeah,
we always have a couple hours in a day, and like we've been planning this for 3-4 months. So we've been going, all right, do all the other little things like get this organized, get that organized, or like the logistics stuff and everything. And then we go, all right, this is going to be our month or month and a half that the weather's broken. We'll all be good. Like all the weather will be fine.
Okay.
Basically fix all the day-to-day stuff. We're not like doing like anything else. It's just going to be everyone just get on planting as soon as we finish picking.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Now true. Okay. Now, I am quite curious about this next question that I have for you, because it's a bit of a future planning question in many ways, shapes, and forms. You took your first order in 2016. You've now got this new property in Sylvan, and you've been able to see maybe some of the challenges over the past, 6 to 8 years, in terms of farming. I don't want to make this sound like I'm asking if climate change is real, but have you noticed climate change impacting what you're doing now? Is it that noticeable on that kind of year to year, or is it more gradual than you thought it was? And if it is actually ramping up, what are you putting in place to combat kind of what you're going to see in the next 10 to 20 years?
Yeah. So yeah, there's a different challenge every year. There's always something like
really
the highs and lows of higher and lower. So this year, we've had rain this past week. I was just mentioning to Meg earlier this week, when was the last time we picked in rain? And we thought it was about 4 or 5 months ago. We have picked in showers, but not rain.
Yeah.
So that's...
Sorry, what are showers and what is rain?
So showers is...
When I think...
Drizzle, slight rain.
Okay.
Around in, and then you have rain where you shit, get out of the weather kind of thing.
Yeah, okay.
We pick through anyway, so...
That's probably the most basic question that you've ever received, but I just honestly had no idea.
So it's basically light rain to heavy rain. This is the first week we've had proper heavy rain in 4 or 5 months. So we're finding that, but winter it gets we have no days where it's no rain kind of thing. Certain times.
Okay.
We're just finding the extremes are coming more and more, and then there's always little challenges that pop up because when this year and last year we had this pest called cabbage moth. It's a little white moth you see.
Oh, the little white moths.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were everywhere.
Yeah. So that is basically when you have extended heat, they hate cold or anything. So basically our biggest thing that will destroy a lot of our stuff, all our mizunas and everything, that it just wipes it. It could be a day or two and we lose everything of that.
Just 2 days and the cabbage moth will strip it.
They are so bad. They've even our neighbour, which is a strawberry farmer, they go for cabbage, and that's what we call them, cabbage moth. They go for the brassicas. they were having damage on the strawberries because they were actually picking up the strawberries.
Oh, wow.
That's how bad they can be.
Far out.
Yeah. So that is
Insane.
because we had extended dries and winds from New South Wales, came from New South Wales, blew into Victoria. They got blown from it, and we're stuck with them now. So
Oh, right. So now you have cabbage moth as a constant problem.
Yeah.
Rather than something before.
Yeah. For this, they'll only be around for the hot, dry months. So this week they've basically disappeared. But yeah, we're just noticing little things like that, and our whole thing is to counteract anything we can. So our water, we water everything pretty much every day. We found is actually pretty good for cabbage moth because they hate cold, and it's 127 meters down. So it's on a hot summer's day, water is ice cold.
Oh, water's ice cold. Okay.
So you just turn that on, and I will scatter them, kind of thing. And we're eventually looking to get some ducks on the property, maybe 20 ducks, because they won't damage the leaves or anything. They just want insects. So you let the ducks go and they'll leave.
Oh, so the ducks are going to eat all the cabbage moths.
Yeah.
But will this lead to some kind of problem where you've introduced ducks to eat the cabbage moths, but then the ducks are going to reproduce, and then you're going to have too many ducks, and you're going to need to introduce a snake to kill the duck, and then you're going to have snakes? Or is this dramatic?
That's a bit dramatic, but yeah, we're going to pet ducks in the long run, kind of thing. So
yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so there's ducks up here that nobody cares about them, kind of thing. They just do their thing.
Oh yeah, cool. Okay.
Every second year they hatch. So play ducks around. We're just going to there's certain runner ducks that love plates of insects that extra out of. Yeah. So
they're called runner ducks.
They look ridiculous. They literally run with their beaks right in the air, with their necks up, beaks.
Oh really?
Yeah, and they just run that way.
Oh my god!
You see them
at that.
French vineyards, they use them to get it.
True. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, far out. And so you've got cabbage moths. You're watering more. Are there any other challenges that you've seen that you can attribute to climate change?
Yeah, it's just you find the quality just gets a bit up and down. So a good example of this one is we have one called winter purslane, or they call it rose. It's just a succulent, but it's a ground cover. It's easier to grow, kind of thing. The flavor of it is the most extreme difference that you can taste. Middle of winter.
Okay.
When you first started, it was semi-consistent kind of flavor to it. It had a little bit of tiny bit of acid to it, and quite fresh, refreshing, and everything. Now it's in winter. It is water. There's no flavor to it.
Okay.
In summer, you'll try it, and it is you actually get taken aback. But that's so much sourness to it. So
it's sour.
Yeah. You run through the plants and everything. So until you have so much rain that's we've had huge damage on our property 2 years ago. We had literally had landslips that dropped out.
Oh wow.
We have a hill on the property. The land literally dropped in 4 foot at one area, 5 foot in another area. So it was wet.
Jeez.
Yeah. So it's huge.
Okay.
So we're having swings like that. So we're finding that, and just the actual water will be in the plants and dilute it so much. So in the middle of winter, you get a lot of things that won't quite have as much flavor to them, and then some will be almost abrasive, the amount of flavor you can get from the sun.
Right. Okay. So instead of really seeing instead of seeing really massive, instead of seeing prolonged, stretches of heat or something like that, you're actually just seeing far more at the extremes. That kind of bell curve is really broadening out.
Yeah. And then especially with you had with the as I said before, it is becoming more extreme in late as well. Rain, real rain for 5-ish months. It's just we have to go through so much water. We have every day for 5 months we have that sprinkler system just to keep everything on. So if changes, it's a big problem. That's what our whole goal is, to build a forest to make our own ecosystem, and we'll hopefully we find the big first capacity we put this in everything, or we're having 15 meters, and they'll self-water, they'll keep some water and everything. We're introducing some natives that are very unique. They're called dragon's blood trees. They're good for like
Dragon's blood trees.
they're called dragon. Their sap is dragon's blood. Bright red lipstick is
Yeah.
that's literally the country's biggest export is that.
Oh wow. Okay.
They look, if you Google them, dragon's blood tree, they're from some of it's Yemen. Very there's an island in Yemen that they come from. They look crazy. You know, like
Yeah. Okay.
it looks from another planet, but they actually are really unique. Like instead of their roots sucking up water, because they grow in a desert island kind of thing, their roots won't suck up water. Their leaves will. So their leaves will suck in water and disperse root roots. So I want to get a couple of them in just to try and keep it. Yeah.
Wait. Hold on. Their leaves suck in water from the atmosphere?
Yeah. From clouds and like just
From clouds?
yeah, from anything in the air, they'll just take and disperse it through the ground.
So you're going to have some cloud vampire trees,
Hopefully,
and you're going to plant them.
see how they grow.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have a timeline for when you're getting them in?
Hopefully that's 2-3 years. Because when we build the forest, we're literally just going to like build in house. We're literally going to build it. So we're going to get them in with some peppermint eucalyptus to get them really grow. Because the peppermint gums will grow to 15 meters over huge trees. No, we're going to get things like Natura gums and lemon eucalyptus in that will grow to 5-6 meters. So they will all act as protection, and they'll almost, because there's so much grass and everything, they'll scorch the ground. It's we call brûlées around the trees, where they actually, the root system will take enough away from the soil to like kill grass and everything. And after that, we're going to be planting our lemon myrtles, aniseed myrtles, cinnamon myrtles all throughout once they're protected enough. So they have a chance, and then literally all our grasses, ground covers, basically building our forest once they've become.
Yeah. So you're kind of going essentially like top down in terms of building this. Yeah. You're starting with the bigger stuff. You're getting to the smaller stuff later. Is that frustrating for you? And firstly, is that frustrating? But secondly, how long then is this kind of plan in your mind going to take? Like best and worst case scenario, like best case, like 12 years or like worst case 20, like what's your time frame on this?
So I wouldn't find it frustrating. It sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah. Who doesn't want to do that kind of thing?
Yeah, that does actually sound really cool. Yeah.
Because when you're in the kitchen, you like to be different. So this is something that I've seen not many other people do. So I'm like, cool. Yeah. Let's try to be different.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's always fun to be slightly different. And then I'm looking at, we've got 7-ish years. It will be, because we're about to, like, we just have to find money to button plants and everything now. So once you get all of that and everything going, because we've got a few other projects that we have to see which one's more important than the other kind of thing, we just have to get in the back of our mind, go, do we want to do this or that? So this is slowly coming forward. So hopefully we start in next year, 18 months kind of thing.
Yeah,
and
wow.
It'll be about 7 years for everything to be pretty much there. The whole long run of it.
Just 7 years.
10 years kind of thing. The peppermint gums, we've already planted some of our property. We've planted from, I think they're about a foot tall.
Okay.
2 years ago, and now they should be about 8 meters tall, but I've had to try and cut them back just so I can be able to pick them. So I'm not getting up a cherry picker or anything.
That's massive. Yeah. So wait, hold on.
Hopefully not.
Far out. Wait, are you planning on buying a cherry picker then to pick them when they're big?
More and more things. There's enough to do.
Yeah, fingers crossed not. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Far out. Mate, more and more things to buy. More and more things to get. More and more things to put in the ground. Far out. Yeah, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So I've just got one final question for you, kind of before I let you go, because I know you've probably been up since the crack of dawn. You've been picking stuff and then driving it around. What are the biggest challenges for native Australian ingredients moving into the future? Because we've seen over the past maybe 12 months kind of a retraction in terms of who's using native ingredients. who's actually taking on native Australian ingredients. What are the challenges?
So I find the
growing
hardest thing is
fostering that kind of native Australian ingredient industry.
it's brand new. Like if you think what berries are you eating, like your grandparents were eating strawberries 70, 80 years, they wouldn't have a clue what munchy berries were. So like I know there's I read a thing it was about 7 years ago, 8 years ago,
For sure.
like munchy berries, that what I was using. We only have produced about 100 kilo a year. That's it. That's basically all Australia will produce and sell. And I know because we work with a company called Creative Native, that's a company out of South Australia. They go to all the indigenous communities all over Australia and get everything. They'll collate them all and then we buy them then. We're probably going through 70, 80 kilos of munchy berries a year now.
Yeah, right. So it's really, really small.
We basically we buy them out quite easily. When it comes to those things, like right now, it's just the supply and the demand is. I think that's why you get a bit of a reaction because they go, "Oh, what this, I want this," and we go, "Well, we sold out, and it's
not coming back." Yeah,
kind of thing. Yeah. So it's one of those things like, and we're going through so much of it now. Like we're selling 600 kilos of Davidson plum and everything just in Melbourne alone, and there's only
600 kilos of Davidson plum.
Yeah, just in Melbourne, like Victoria.
Okay.
So we're going through that much, and then we access for the general public kind of thing because we're selling that. Okay. Literally going to restaurants, function centers like I know MCG cakes 10 kilo of Davidson plum quite easily.
Why does the MCG take 10 kilos of Davidson plum? I've not seen it in any of my beers at the footy.
Yeah, they don't go to that place.
Yeah.
Because it's 70 different food outlets in the MCG.
Far out.
Me and you go to Nick Island.
The ones in general admission?
The NCC will have so many, they'll go through all that. And the executive chef of the MCG is part Indigenous as well. So
Oh, amazing. Yeah, fantastic.
He's been using all that kind of stuff. Like we're going through so much. But like when you think about it, there's X amount of product that, like say, Davidson plum may have 2 tons a year. Like you take 600 kilo of that a year. That goes through restaurants in Victoria and functions and all that. In Victoria, that leaves 1.4 ton to. I know there's a company in Sydney, Select Fresh, that use them as well. They go through just as much. So that is more than half of Australia's stock. They've been the general public with very fine to actually be able to get. So I find that's a big thing. Like, and they get things like lemon myrtle, which is in everything. Like for sure, these will have lemon myrtle in it because that was discovered 20 years ago. All kind of thing. So we've actually invested in growing it, which all the other ones, because it's so brand new, I don't think the investment is quite there yet. And why don't we invest in it right now? Like that's my goal. Where do you get strawberry gum from? Like in good supply all the time because nobody grows it. Like there's us. There's another place in southern Victoria that grow a little bit. And then you get that kind of thing. And then a lot of the times it gets dried as well. Like if you taste the difference between dried and fresh strawberry gum, it's worlds apart. Like the brightness of it,
100%.
Crazy the difference. So you get a lot of things like you see recipes that I use strawberry gum here. They use the fresh stuff. Like the people making it use fresh stuff and it's supposed to taste like this. People go home, have their little sachet of strawberry gum that's dried, use them and go, well, this is shit. Why?
Yeah, okay. It's right. So there's kind of this
proper access to it. It's because
exactly. To be like saying I'm going to use fresh basil in my pasta, and then just using dried basil and being like, why is this so crap?
Yeah, exactly. So
exactly the same. Yeah, absolutely. And so my last question for you before I let you go, very, very last one, is you're a young guy.
Yeah.
And it's weird to see young people farming. That's a bit of an outlier, at least in my experience of meeting quite a lot of farmers. a lot of them tend to be a lot older. First of all, what attracted you to farming in the first place, firstly? And secondly, do you want to see more young people farming? And if so, how do we go about actually getting young people into farming?
So basically,
I love that you laughed. You were like,
because I know my neighbors, like he was ready to like give his business to his son, like hand it down. I said,
right,
we don't want to do it myself, thank you, because there are days where you're like, this is a bitch.
Oh no!
Like things like that, but it's getting through. Like the thing that I find the best in it is I live on my farm now.
Ew.
I just put a 1-bedroom house on my farm that's me and my girlfriend live in. We have our 3 dogs and we have 18.
Yeah, beautiful.
Hedges and everything to keep everyone.
Yeah, and you technically work from home. Yeah,
yeah. But like that's the perk for me. And it's like, and I'm working for myself. It's anything I do, I can see. And like, if you work for someone else, they could change their mind on a dime, and you don't know what the next day is going to bring. Like, I still have my plants, and I know what I'm growing towards, and like where the farm is, it's Sylvan. We're looking over mountains and everything. It's just what other area would I want to be? But yeah, it's just a lot of like young people like don't want to do they see farming and they go, but like everyone, like you see farms all around, they'll plant in 2,000 cherry trees and like clipping cherries day after day.
Yeah,
it can get a bit much sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
We're finding it's good here that no day's the same. Like one day, like we'll have the pigs going out and pick 60 containers of one thing, 30 containers of the other, and then the day after, nobody wants that because we know like what exactly everyone ordered. So we can go, all right, well, we're not picking that today. We'll get something different and do all that. And every day is different kind of thing here. So,
yeah,
okay. There's a few areas like you can go, like we've employed people from Young Farmers Correct. That's a company that we swear by now. They're, we put jobs out everywhere, and like we've refused, like we're at the point like we're not going anywhere else. We just go through Young Farmers Direct because you're actually getting people that kind of have an interest, and then actually see that like, all right, this is not farming that I expected, or they have a lot of people have like a certain thing about farming, especially like dairy, where it's you wake up at 4 a.m. and like, yeah, it's just crazy hours kind of thing.
Yeah,
we're so different. Like half the time I say I'm not really a farmer. I just do what I do kind of thing.
I do things. Yeah.
Our whole company, like I'm a chef, like I'm trained chef. My accounts manager is a graphic designer. Meg, who's is my other manager. She's a marine biologist.
Yes.
And then the other manager, an interior designer. So
cool.
How we all run a farm somehow.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things like, personally, I don't know like what the thing is because we're so like different. I think I know what it's like to be a farmer, but not too sure yet.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, man, look, I really appreciate you answering all my questions. I know I had some weird ones, and I know I had some very basic ones of like, tell me about the differences between rain. So I really appreciate you taking your time with me. Thank you so much for joining me. If you want to support Liam Spurrell, head to the Instagram, head to Spurrell Foraging on Instagram. Support them there. Support the restaurants around Melbourne. Support the distilleries around Australia, and support the incredible work that Liam Spurrell does. And I'm sure in 7 years, we're going to be enjoying the shade of the forest that you have built, which is edible. And I'm going to be jumping along the Warrandyte to say hi. Mate, thank you so much for your time today. Have a sensational rest of your day, dude.
Okay.
Cheers.